Welcome everyone. Today's level 2 ChimeraFit class. Today's going to be a full body workout. We're going to have a little extra attention to some of the basics. So just in terms of Pilates movements and strength training. So kind of dialing in some of the fundamentals today. And like usual, we'll use some of our props that we always do. We'll use some free weights. If you're ready to add some free weights to things, we'll use a long band. And if you have a loop band, and a Pilates ball or a pillow. And once you've got those things, we'll be ready to start. We're going to begin just right where we are in a cross-leg position. And you can, whichever foot feels comfortable to have in front, no need to do anything different. Option to sit on a bolster or pillow if you like. We're going to bring hands to prayer. And then starting with a robin's breath. So we're going to breathe in, take a nice full breath in, expanding your ribs in all 360 degrees. And then as you exhale, we're going to tip your fingers forward, round your upper back as you reach out ahead, creating a nice bit of flexion in the upper back. Full exhale, let the ribs drop down toward the pelvis. And then inhale, open up the arms like a letter T. We're going to open the chest, look up toward the sky. Maybe even extend the fingers back a little bit. And then exhale, return your hands right back where they were, reaching forward and rounding. Inhale as you reach your arms now straight up toward the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands back to your start position into prayer. Nice. We're going to inhale. Big full breath. Exhale, tip the fingers forward and reach as you round. We'll inhale to open things up. Look toward the sky. Exhale, reaching forward. We're going to imagine like the air is a little thick. You have to put a little bit of effort through the hands, through the arms. Inhale, extending up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, hands back to prayer. Weight even on both sitting bones. Full breath in, letting especially the back body expand on the inhale, and full exhale, reaching forward as you dive ahead. I'm going to open the chest. Heart melts forward as you reach the fingers back, get a little nerve glide. Exhale, round the back, reach forward again. Inhale, reaching up to the sky. Just warming up the whole upper body. Exhale, hands to prayer. And one more time. Inhale, fingers tip forward, and exhale to round. Inhale as we open up. Like a big letter T. Gentle extension in the neck. Exhale, round. Reaching forward. Inhale, reaching up to the sky, making your spine really long, and then exhale, we'll bring your hands back to prayer. Perfect. Once we're here, you can let the hands down, and then we'll come to a 90-90 staggered position with your right leg in front, left leg in back. And from here, we're going to add a little bit of a rotation in the back. So right hand will rest down on the floor. Left arm's going to reach up as we twist, looking up toward that left hand. And then exhale, thread the needle, reach your left hand under the right as you fold forward over the right leg, just at a comfortable amount without forcing it. And then inhale as we come up. Push the floor away a little bit so that upper back is active. And then exhale, keep that push into the floor as you lengthen. So we're not just plopping down onto your knee, we're controlling that lowering. Inhale, reaching up, allowing a gentle rotation through the whole spine. Exhale, diving through. The ear goes in the direction toward the floor. It certainly doesn't have to touch it. And two more on this side. Feel free to slow down a little bit or go a little faster. Find a pace that feels right to you. Really nice elongation through all that fascia and that back diagonal of the body from opposite shoulder to opposite hip. And one more time. Perfect. Once we come back up, we're going to pause in the same position just for a moment. Bring your hands either in front of that right knee, pause there, or option to bring your hands up like a prayer, or just interlace the fingers. Pause here. You're going to press that right knee, right ankle, right shin into the floor. Kind of feel that back right hip start to activate a little bit as you continue to hinge forward a little bit. Start to lean forward over that front right hip, kind of pointing generally in the direction toward your knee. Elongating the back of the hip as we're using it to hold yourself up, and then come back out of that. 2 more times. If that feels a little challenging, you can use your fingertips to help support you. So we're leaning forward, elongating, waking up the back of the hip, right leg pushes into the floor, and then slowly bringing yourself back up. Take a breath, and then one more time. It's a little bit of a hinge forward. Pause for just a moment, and then back up to make it a nice active, dynamic lengthening, and then we can switch sides. So we're gonna bring left leg in front, right leg in back, and then thread the needle on this side. So the left hand is going to support yourself. Go ahead, give a little bit of a push into the floor. Inhale, the right arm reaches up to the sky, and then exhale, reach under. You can adjust the position of your hand of the left hand so you're at a comfortable angle to fold forward over that front left leg. Nice. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, twisting through. Just getting a nice bit of mobility here into our spine and hips. Inhale, push the floor away. The legs are active so that the points of contact onto the ground, you should feel like a little bit of energy of your legs down into your mat. And again, instead of them just resting there, they're like holding yourself in that 90-90 position. And then one more time, getting a nice even spiral. So each vertebrae gets a chance to move without skipping any segments. And then once we come back to the center, again, either using fingertips to support you, we're just going to do a little, or hands up, we're going to do a little bit of a forward lean. Pause for a moment. It doesn't have to be too far, just enough to feel that back left hip starting to work a bit. And then bring your trunk back to a more vertical position. Take a breath. Anchor the left shin, knee, ankle, good down as you start to lean forward a little bit. It's not so much about depth as it is about just getting the back of the hip to begin to work. Back to center. Take a breath, looking good so far. And then one more time, the angle that you're at, like pointing toward knee, pointing toward shin, really depends on what feels best for you. So just play with that part of it. All right, perfect. And then we're going to come out of that. You can bring your legs out of that 90-90 position, and we'll come up to a hands and knees position, hands right under your shoulders, knees under the hips, and then letting the spine gently extend into cow. Inhale, exhale, rounding the spine, going into cow. Inhale, melting the heart forward, letting each vertebrae have a chance to move. Exhale, rounding. Using the first few rounds as a little bit of a check-in. So not so much that you're trying to achieve a specific shape, but we're just seeing how your spine feels today, how your pelvis feels, if there's any sticky spots. Especially noticing if we can get some movement between the shoulder blades, that upper middle part of our thoracic spine that tends to be stiffer on some people. Right around where the heart, level of the heart. You have to think about melting the heart forward and then gently bringing the heart backwards toward the space between the shoulder blades as you round. Perfect. Once we come back down to a neutral position, we're going to pause here for just a moment. Shift the weight to the left knee. Extend your right leg straight back behind you. So your big toe is in contact with the ground. Pause here, push the floor away, and then reaching your toe as long as you can, start to lift that back leg up. Keeping your pelvis neutral, spine neutral, and then option to add an opposite arm reach. Bird dog. Make yourself as long as you can be. You can continue to keep the hand in contact with the floor if you like, and then come back in, so waking up the whole back half of the body. Readjust your position and slide the opposite. Left leg's going to come back, so just sliding it as long as you can away from your body, then barely pick it up a bit. Option to add the opposite arm. We're going to push the floor away with your supporting hand and knee, so we have energy going down in toward the mat. Come back in. Give your wrist a little adjustment if you need to come up on fists or make a modification there. Let's try the other side one more time. Right leg comes back. Option to add an opposite arm reach. bring that side in. Take a breath. Left leg reaches back. We're going to keep the ribs and pelvis connected. So they're stacked one on top of the other. Float the opposite arm if we can. And bring everything back to center. Perfect. You can go toes together, knees apart, resting in a child's pose here for a moment. Just allowing yourself a few breaths, letting the ribs expand outward toward the knees. So you can give your rib cage a little space, knees out to the side. In your child's pose, if it feels comfortable, you can try a little bit of a wiggle of the hips, pelvis, side to side, kind of exploring what's happening in the low back and the pelvis today. And then on your next breath, we'll come up to hands and knees. Turn your toes under, push the floor away, hips will come up to a down dog. And go ahead and let the calves reach down, heel toward the floor one at a time, just pedaling out, giving the calves a little stretch. Tailbone reaching up toward the sky, hands pushing down into the floor. Shoulders are active. And then continue a few more pedals or option to just pause in a down dog for a few breaths. Whatever feels better for you today. And then we'll step the feet up to forward fold. Bend the knees as much as needed to make that accessible. Anchor your feet to the ground to roll yourself up. Inhale, reaching up to the sky with a little bit of a back bend. Little squeeze of the glutes underneath you. Exhale, bring the hands to prayer. Perfect. We're going to reach the arms up again and then sit into a chair pose. Pause. Option 2, arms forward. If you can, more of a challenge for the arms, reaching the arms overhead. Pick what feels right to you. Maybe sit back half an inch more. And forward fold. 2 full rounds of breath here in your forward fold. A little bit of action in the back half of the body, so we're hinging forward, but at the same time the back is getting ready to lift, even in that elongated position. Anchor your feet down, roll it back up. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, we'll bring your hands to prayer. And go ahead and allow your arms to rest down by your side. We'll go palms forward. A little bit of a squeeze of your shoulder blades behind you. Maybe soften the knees just a smidge. Just waking up the shoulder blade, upper back muscles. We're going to, with the palms forward, give your shoulder blades a little bit of a squeeze back behind you, kind of noticing that bottom angle of your shoulder blades coming towards each other. And then take a little bit of a break. So it's just a small little shoulder squeeze behind you. 2 more. We're just going to squeeze the shoulders, opening up the chest. Anchor your heels to the ground. All 10 toes supported into your mat. And then take a little break. Take a breath. And then one more time, just a little gentle squeeze. Like you're trying to imagine like a string pulling each shoulder blade toward the opposite hip. Nice. We're going to give that a little bit of a break and let the arms rest down by your side. Give the toes a wiggle, picking them up and then letting each toe down one at a time so we have like just a hint of space between each toe. Shift the weight onto the right foot and then we're going to lift the left knee. Just balancing on one foot. Toes, it's getting a little bit of an athletic stance, so like lift your toes up. Ribs stacked over pelvis, and then we'll reach the arms straight up to the sky. Pelvis as level as we can make it. Nice neutral spine. Good. Just pause and hold. 2 full rounds of breath. Option to extend that top leg for a little more challenge. Nice. Then we're going to set that side down. Rest your arms for a moment. Shift the weight to the other side. And right knee comes up, keeping our spine neutral. So as the knee comes up, we're not rounding your back. Option to float the fingers up to the ceiling. Create as much length in the upper back as you can. Maybe for a little more challenge, we'll extend that right leg out. Toes to the sky. Heart forward. And let this side back down, relax the arms, give the shoulders a couple rolls, maybe the arms a few shakes. All right, and then we're going to move into some squats. You may want to have your weights handy if you're ready to add weights, but before we even do that, we will do just a few body weight squats first. So feet just about hip width apart. Option to turn toes out slightly or forward. This is very individual, so whatever is most comfortable for you is the right angle that we want to have here with your squat. Just like we're sitting into an imaginary chair, we're sitting down and back up. Hips and knees bend together. A lot of times we need the hips to go back maybe a little further behind you than you think so that we get work at the glutes. So just like sitting back to that chair and back up we go. Knees are going to stay pointing toward your second, third toe. Good. And 3 more, going a little slower than maybe your natural tendency is. Down and slowly press yourself back up. And then one more time. We're going to squat down. Come back up. Nice. And then bring the feet together, arms out at a little bit of an angle, thumbs up. Small circle in the arms. Just warming up our arms a little bit more before we do add some resistance to this. We're going to knit the ribs down and in toward your pelvis just a bit, not massively, so it's not like super rigid, but just enough that we're not getting any wiggly of the upper back. And then circle the arms the other way. Anchor the feet to the floor so that you feel all points of the foot into the ground. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. You can let the arms back down. If you need a little sip of water or hydrate, this would be a chance for that. Otherwise, we're then going to move back into our squat. Option now to add some weight to it. We're going to go squat right into an overhead press. So you can continue with body weight, or if you're ready to add some resistance, we're going to go weights right over your shoulders. Same squat position as we just did, same squat form. Checking that we've got weight even on both feet. And then we're going to sit down, squat, come up to stand, and then it's a reach straight up overhead. There we go. So sit down into your squat. Wait, good. Knees are going to point straight at the second toe. Down. And nice. And up. Good. And we're trying to make sure we don't want knees coming inward. I'm going to actually keep them, straight in line with the toes. And down. Wait. Lots of weight through the heels. And up we go. Good. 4 more. Do as close to 10 as you feel like you can today. Exhale through the lift. And last 3. Looking good. And 2. Squat. And punching straight up toward the sky. And down. And up. That looks great. You can set the weights down. Give yourself a moment. Give the hands maybe a little circle of the wrists. Catch your breath. Nice. We're going to reach the right hand down by the right side. Left arm up. Maybe bring feet together or feet apart. We're just easy side bend. So pick whatever feels best for your legs. As we rest for a moment here, elongating that side of the body, and then left hand down, right hand up. Perfect. Let everything down. Arms are going to come straight out to the side and then rotate to the right. So pelvis continues to point forward, but with the upper back twisting. But this front right side of the pelvis is going to continue to stay straight ahead, come back to center. Pelvis forward, rotate to the other side. Weight even on both feet. You'll notice your body will want to shift to the left. So see if you can put a little bit more weight through that right foot. Unwind and come back to the center. And then give the arms a little shake. And then before we go back to our squat, we're going to actually grab our band, nice long band here. Warm up the upper back just a smidge more. So with you want a band that you feel comfortable doing a pull across here. Yeah. And with the feet just about hip width apart, let's go palms up toward the sky. Knit the ribs down and in just a little bit. And it's going to be an easy band pull, so the shoulder blades squeeze together. Pull the band toward your chest, standing up nice and tall. And then bring it forward. Nice. So it's just going to be opening up. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. And there we go. And open. And 4 more. Head right over your shoulders. Last 3. Pause, neutral wrists. Shouldn't feel strain through the fingers. 2. And on the last one, we're going to pause. Hold it there. Keep the band, pull as we add then that same twist we just did. Rotate. Pelvis forward. Come back to center and rotate toward the other side. Come back to center and we'll let the arms down. Beautiful. You can set band down and we're going to grab our weights. We'll squat press again. Take a second. I need a sip of water. Get yourself ready for our second round of that. So same position, feet under the hips, hands ready to go at your shoulders, ribs stacked over the pelvis, and when you're ready, we'll come down, squat, and reaching straight up overhead. Nice. So yeah, feet about hip width apart, sitting down into, yeah, just like sit to stand. Squat is exactly the same as sitting into a chair, just without a chair. 4, and then reach straight up to the sky. That looks good. Here's 5. Inhale and exhale. Nice. Weight even on both feet. Sit back into those hips. 7. Sometimes it helps to think of a chair back behind you to really get the glutes working. Good. Squat and reach. All right. Down and exhale through the effort. I think we have one more. I might have lost count. That feels like 10 to me. All right, once you're ready, once you've had enough of that, we will set the weights back down. Perfect job. Give the arms a little bit of a break. Well, interlace your fingers, make a little wave with the arms, or the wrists rather, and then a little wave, just taking out any tension there. Good. Give the arms a little bit of a rest. Perfect. And then we're going to find the back half of your mat. Inhale, reaching up to the sky, and then exhale, forward fold down. We're going to walk your hands forward to a plank. Option to drop the knees. Pause here. Push the floor away. 2 full rounds of breath. And then we're going to inchworm the toes up toward your hands. Bend the knees as much as you need to get there. Anchor the feet down. Roll yourself back up. Inhale, reaching up with a hint of a back bend. Exhale, coming back down. Then we're going to reverse that inchworm the other way. So round your spine down, forward bend. Step back to a plank. Pause. 2 full rounds of breath. Zip the inner thighs a little closer together. Push the floor away. Option to drop the knees at any point. And then we'll walk the hands in toward the feet. Bend the knees. Roll. Get a little bit of rounding through the spine. Inhale. Up we go. Exhale. Arms down. And then one more time. Rounding down. Walking it out to your plank. Pause. Inching the toes up. And then pause here in your forward fold for a moment. And then before we stand, we're going to go switch into a lunge. So you're going to shift your weight to the right foot, pick up your left foot, step back with your, so that we're in a crescent lunge position. All 10 toes forward, anchor your feet to the ground, and then float the arms up. Nice. Extend the back leg nice and strong. We're going to bring hands to prayer and then twisted lunge, left elbow toward the right knee. Option to drop the back knee to the floor or continue back leg up. Oh, is everything okay? We good? Yeah, okay. All right, and then we'll come back down and then step back, hands to the floor, plank. Chaturanga, knees down to the ground if you'd like, chest to the floor. Inhale, a little bit of a cobra or up dog. Gentle back bend. Exhale, down dog. We'll step up to your forward foot fold. Bend the knee. Bend the knees to step back then with your right foot. So we have all 10 toes forward. Anchor your foot to the floor and float the arms up, crescent lunge. Extend that back leg nice and strong. Reach up to the sky and then hands to heart prayer. Twisted lunge, opposite right elbow towards knee. Again, option 2, come down to the floor. 2 rounds of breath, ribs expand in all directions. And then you can turn to look down to the floor. We'll frame the foot with your hands. Step back to your plank, either meet in a down dog or option for one more vinyasa, lowering the chest down. Inhale, gentle extension, using your back muscles to help lift yourself up so you're not forcing it. And then exhale, down. This time we'll walk the feet up, forward fold, roll yourself up to stand. Once we come up to stand, give the shoulders, again, a couple easy rolls. And then we're going to move into a lunge with a row. So with the weight, you may want to, again, check it, the weight to see that it feels like it's the right resistance to you. We're going to have right leg in front, left leg in back. We're going to combine one lunge and one row, just like we did squat and then press. So you have right leg in front, you got it. We're going to lunge down, just like you're sitting into a chair, like a squat with one leg in front, one lunge, we come up, and then shoulder blades back, one row. You got it. Lunge down, up, and then both arms together too. We'll do 5. Down and pull. Shoulder blades lead the way with the row. 3. Nice. Back knee comes toward the floor, doesn't have to touch it. 4. The lower you go, the more challenging it is. So just pick a depth that feels right, and then we're going to switch sides. Left leg in front, right leg and back, all 10 toes forward. It's like you're sitting into an imaginary chair with that front left hip as you lunge down. Yeah, and pull for 1. Lunge and row 2. And up 3. Here's 4. Lunge and row. That is 5. Perfect. You can set your weights down. Take a moment there. Catch your breath. We're going to find a nice, just tall standing position. Back to palms forward again. Take a moment. Make yourself as tall as you can be. And if you feel safe to do so, a little bit of vestibular check-in. See if you can close the eyes. Weight even on both feet. And with the eyes closed, if this feels safe, you're going to turn to look over the left shoulder. So you can still keep the weight even on both feet. Bring the head back to center. Turn to look over the right shoulder. You can do this eyes open, by the way. If eyes closed feels too unsteady, back to center. But otherwise, option to challenge yourself with eyes closed. Then we'll do 1 gentle look up to the sky. We're having to use our inner ear, your vestibular system for your balance. And 1 look down toward the floor. And then come back to center. Open the eyes. Nice. All right, then we're going to grab the weights one more time. This time, instead of lunge, immediately row, just going to mix it up slightly. Do 5 lunges in a row, then 5 rows. Before we switch sides, just slight variation on that. So all 10 toes forward, and we're just going to go down and up for 5. Nice. Knee straight over second, toe 2. 3, nice. Think about pressing through the heel on that front foot 4. And then on the 5th one, you're going to hinge forward just a smidge more in 5 rows for 5, 4, shoulder blades back, 3, 2, looking good, 1. And then we will do the exact same thing on the other side. Perfect. You guys got it. We're going to lunge down and up for 5, 4. Take your time so you're lowering yourself down. 3, not gravity yanking you down. 2, And one more, and then we hinge forward just a bit for 5 rows for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. All right, we're gonna set weights down. Take a moment, grab a sip of water if you need it, and then when you're ready, we're gonna meet on the front half of the mat one more time. Standing tall, shifting weight to the right foot, and then tree pose. So either kickstand, foot, heel at your shin, foot at the whole foot at the shin or whole foot at your thigh. Any version of this that feels right. Hands to prayer to begin. An option to grow the tree by reaching up to the sky. And to give a little bit of energy of your foot into wherever your contact is on that other leg. And if your balance feels like you can do it, we'll add, with the eyes open though, a little bit of a head movement. So looking to the left. Doesn't have to be big, just look a little bit over to the left. Slowly bring your head back to center, turning the head to look a little bit to the right. And then bring it back to center. And then just a little bit up, doesn't have to be far. It's actually harder than you might realize. And back, a little bit of a look down. Back to center, then we'll bring your hands to prayer. Set that side down, give the leg a wiggle, and then try the other side. So we have options, kickstand, foot to shin, or foot up at your thigh, whichever version feels right to you today. We'll start hands to prayer. Big toe glued to the ground. Option to reach up to the sky. Supporting knee has like a little bit of micro bend to it, so it's like an athletic type stance. We're going to start a little bit of head movement again. This reverse the order, so we'll go looking to the right first. And center. And then looking a little bit to the left. Smaller movement is all it needs to be. The bigger you get, the harder it is. Back to center and then down. Just glancing, see where you're at. And then a little bit of a look up. Back to center. Hands to prayer. Set it down. Nice job. Once we're down on the floor, you can find your way down to the mat in whatever way you would like to get there. No fancy transition. Just going to come to the floor. Hydrate if you like. If you've got Pilates ball or pillow, this is the time to grab that. We're going to bring it between the knees. Anchor your rib cage to the floor so we have a little bit of something to press against. Perfect. Yeah, pillow works totally fine. And once we're on the ground, tailbone anchored onto the ground, bottom ribs heavy onto the mat. I'm going to just do a little bit of a check-in with our deep abdominal muscles, your transverse abdominis. We're going to do a full breath in. And then as you exhale, full exhale, give the ball a little squeeze with the inner thighs and just notice how at the end of your exhale, the deep abs zip up and in just a little bit, along with the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor lifts up away from the feet. Inhale, let everything relax. Ribs expand in all directions, and then full exhale with a little bit of a ball squeeze. Let all the air out. Notice again at the very end of the exhale how those deep abs have this gentle lifting. And one more like that. Full inhale and exhale. 5, 6, we're going to do as close to 10 seconds as you can. 8. If you need a little sip of air to hold, that's okay. And then relax. Perfect. You're going to bring hands to pelvis and give your pelvis a little bit of a tilt forward and back. So just gently allowing the spine to come closer to the ground. And then the opposite, tailbone forward, tip, backward tip. Oh. Without any like overly tensing of your abs, just here. We're just kind of gently getting some movement into pelvis and low back. About 2 more each direction, just to kind of explore, see what your movement in those lower segments of the spine feel like today. And then we're going to find a spot that's about halfway between forward, halfway between backwards, tilt. That's your more or less your neutral position. Kind of settle into that spot that feels most comfortable between those two extremes. And then maintaining that neutral position, we're going to bring the knees up to a tabletop position. Option, of course, to leave them down by your side. Take a full breath in, and then with a little bit of a ball squeeze, exhale, lift the head and shoulders into a bit of a crunch, and then we'll pulse the arms down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 2. Option to extend the legs for more challenge. Exhale 2, or continue to keep them bent. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 5. Here's 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. You can bring a hand behind the head if the neck gets fatigued, or just let your head all the way down. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to almost touch the ground with your hands. 9, 2. So it's a nice low little pulse of the arms. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome job. You can let everything come back. Let your head down. You can leave the ball off to the side for a moment. Hug the knees into your chest. And give your back a little massage, side to side, rocking side to side if that feels good. Beautiful job. And then we're going to single leg circle. So we're going to let the left leg down on the mat, right leg reaches up to the sky, knee straight up. If your hamstrings are a little tight, we can have a little knee bend, and circle the right leg down and around. So it's inhale as the leg comes down, exhale as it comes up. So the hip is moving in the socket without much movement of your pelvis. Option to keep that bottom leg bent so your foot is flat on the floor. More advanced, the calf is on the ground. And our goal is to keep your pelvis as level as possible. And once we come up to 12 o'clock, we're going to pause there, reverse the direction of your circle. Notice the heaviness of your rib cage on the mat. 2. And then on the last one, we're going to pause right here. Let your toes flex toward your nose. Reach your heel up to the sky. Get a nice elongation, that whole back half of the thigh. Perfect. We're going to let that side down and switch. So left leg comes up, right leg either foot anchored onto the mat or a little more advanced, extend the leg along the mat, circle, left leg down and around. Nice big exhale. Each time the leg comes up and around towards you. Collarbones wide. And 3, 2, last 1 on this direction, and then reverse. And if you can, maybe look at where your foot is going. See if you can recreate the same circle each time, working a little bit on your control with that so it's not just flopping all over the place. And then one more time, I'm going to hold it there, toes to nose. Reach your heel up toward the sky as your hip bone anchors down even heavier into the mat. And then we can bring that side in. We're going to hug both knees into your chest and give yourself a couple of rocks to come up to sit. So give your low back a little massage. Once we're up, we're going to go into the roll up, starting from the up position. So we're going to reach your arms forward, sitting up nice and tall, and then exhale, find a C shape of your spine and start to roll yourself down. Option to hold on to the back of the knees if you need a little support for the hands. Otherwise, we're going to slow motion roll down. Inhale as your arms reach up overhead. We're going to curl back up, and you can use a knee if you need a little help from one leg to lift yourself up. Inhale, reach forward, straight ahead, and then exhale, roll down. Again, at any point, you have this help here from the hands for rolling nice and controlled. Inhale as you reach over overhead. Exhale, if you are using a little help from a knee to lift yourself up, you're going to just alternate. Lift once with the right, use the other side, use the other time, use the left knee. So we get a nice even amount. If you're ready for more of a challenge, we'll extend the legs along the mat through the whole movement. Exhale through the middle as we come up. Inhale, reaching ahead, and exhale, slow motion, rolling back. Really good combination, spine mobility and abdominal strength. Reach ahead. 2 more. Take your time. Both shoulders down at the same time. Again, use as much help from the hands as you need to. Inhale, exhale through the effort to come up through the middle. Inhale, reaching ahead. And slow, controlled, roll it back to the floor. Once we're on the ground, we're going to stay there for a moment, bend the knees. And then if you've got a loop band, this is where we're going to use that, just above the knees. Otherwise, if you don't have a loopy band, do not worry. We've got one. Fantastic. Oh, perfect. We're good. So we're going to have, feet about hip width apart. We're going to move into some bridging. So arms just anchored down by your side. As you exhale, we're going to press outward against the band just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a massive press out, just enough to feel a little bit of work here in the small muscles in the back of the hip, and stand into the heels to lift the hips up into a bridge. Tailbone's going to reach out toward the calves. Pause, chin lifted from chest, making your spine nice and long, and then rolling down one piece at a time. So your tailbone comes down. It's going to be a nice articulated bridge. Inhale, exhale, press out against the band. Heels are heavy. Lift the tailbone, lift the low back. As you come up into your bridge, the tailbone is reaching out toward your calves, so your spine is really long. You want to feel like, in fact, squeeze your bottom a little bit. It's like right where your thigh meets the bottom of your butt. So we get as much glute help as possible, and then roll back down one piece at a time. Nice. If you want to continue using help from your hands, go for it. Otherwise, you can challenge yourself by reaching your hands up to the sky, using just your legs, back half of the body. Anchor the heels down, press into the ground. We'll lift up into your bridge, chin lifted from chest. Pause here for a moment, and then we're going to add a little bit of a twist. So the right, just a little tilt of your pelvis, twisting it to the right, and then bring it back up. And then a little twist of the pelvis to the left. Like if there was a marble on your low belly, it's like you're trying to roll the marble off to the right side, and then bring it back to the center, and roll it a little bit over to the left, and then back to the center. Chin lifted from chest so there's no strain on the neck. Roll to the right once more. Back to center, roll it a little bit to the left. Stability with mobility. Nice job. Lower everything back down. Once we're done, we're going to remove the band. You can hug your knees to your chest, give your back a little bit of a massage there. Perfect. You can hug both knees and closer. Curl up just a little bit more. So a single leg stretch. We're going to use your hands to help lift your shoulders. Hold on to your right leg and extend the left either up or more advanced a little bit further out. Continue to keep that little crunch and switch legs. And switch. Switch. And switch. Right. Leg up to the sky for a little more beginner. A leg lower out. A little more challenging. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Use your hands to help lift you up into that crunch. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Nice. We're going to let your head and shoulders down. Rest on the floor. Maybe give the ankles a couple wiggles, a couple circles. And then we're going to keep the legs together. Exhale, curl back up, double leg stretch. You're going to hold on to the shins, maybe closer to the ankles. Inhale, reach both arms and legs straight up to the sky, and circle the arms around, coming back in. Curl it up a smidge more. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, crunch it in. Nice. Inhale, reach up and up. And exhale, the arms do a little circle to come back. Perfect. Two more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. And one more time. Add a hold on this last one. Reach up and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down we go. This time the head will now stay on the floor completely. We're going to extend both legs straight up toward the sky. We're going to scissor the legs with your head anchored down, ribs anchored down. Lower the left leg without arching the back. So just getting a nice elongation both legs. Feel the abs start to kick in, and switch. Right leg down, left leg up. See if we can keep the collarbones wide from shrugging up. Switch and switch. Extend the legs a little bit longer. Switch and switch. Perfect. 2 more. Switch and switch. Nice. 1 more on each side. The lower you go, the more challenging it is. So go to the depth that you can without arching the back, and then up we go. Perfect. We're gonna hug the knees and give yourself a couple of rocks to come up to sitting, or just come up to sitting in however you'd like to. And then we're gonna flip around to your belly. So finding a Sphinx pose, so the elbows just directly underneath your shoulders, pushing the floor away. Pause here for a moment, just with, instead of a super relaxed Sphinx, we're going to push, tops of the feet anchored into the ground. A little bit of connection, the ribs are active, so we're just propped up on the elbows. Pause here for a moment. Good, so you're gonna be, you're propped up on your elbows. Take 2 full rounds of breath, keeping your spine nice and long. Perfect, and then we can lower all the way back down, let your forehead rest on the back of the hands. So once we're on the floor, I'm going to pause here for a moment, and then keeping your pelvis anchored down to the ground, so the back is going to be neutral. In fact, you're going to think about lifting the abs up and in just a little bit. We're going to float the right leg up just like a half an inch, just barely pick it up off the ground. And then switch. Left leg's just going to barely come up. See if we can do that without changing the position of your back. Perfect. Let that side down, and then try the right. Just a little baby lift. Noticing that whole back half of the body starting to fire, back down, and then just a little bit of a lift to the left. Perfect. Then continue those small lifts with one leg, or option to extend the arms straight out ahead, and then we'll do opposite arm and leg. Lift, just a tiny little lift and hover, and switch. It's more about keep making yourself really long than it is lifting up too high. And switch. And switch. Nice. And then switch. Pause here, lift both arms and legs, and hover, and just pause and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let everything down. Perfect. Bring hands under the shoulders, and then stretch the other direction, toes together, knees apart, into a child's pose. Letting the ribs expand in all directions. And go ahead and add a little side bend to this one, so we'll walk your hands over to the right. Elongating the lats on that left side. And then walking the hands to the left. And think about allowing more breath into that right side. Perfect. And then we're going to come back to the center, turn to your right side so that your right elbow is underneath your shoulder. We're going to go into a little bit of a side plank movement. So elbow under shoulder, knees bent, and so we're laying on your side. And then with the shoulder right up over the elbow, we're going to press down, lifting up into a little bit of a side plank. And as you come up into your side plank, we're going to pause here for a moment, reach the left arm straight up to the sky, and then add a little side bend. See if you can reach up and over, and then come back, bringing the hand straight to the ceiling. So it's going to be just a little bit of a reach, and then coming back. Nice. And then one more time, reaching up and over, creating like a little baby crunch in that side plank, and then we'll come back down. Pause there. You can rest, or option to then extend your top leg. Pause and hold. And then let that side down. We're going to come up to a mermaid, let your right hip stay on the ground, kind of a side sit position, and then right arm reaches up to the sky. So we're creating this nice C shape on the right side. There you go. Yeah, so the right hip is down, right arm reaches up. You got it. Breathing into the right side of the ribs, and then unwind, and we'll come around to the other side. So we've got left elbow underneath your shoulder, knees bent. You can use your top hand to help you a little bit here if we need to. And then we're going to press into a little bit of a side plank, hips come up. Option to either leave the hand down if you need that little help, or arm comes up. We'll add a little bit of a side bend by reaching up and over, and then coming back to neutral. And again, we're reaching up and over. Just a hint of a crunch. And back to center. And one more time, we reach it up and over, a little baby crunch. And to center, stay there. Rest or option 2, extend the right leg. Pause and hold for 5, 4, 3. Lots of work for the side of that bottom hip, your waist, and then down we go. Beautiful. We're gonna then mermaid on this side, so left hip stays down. Left arm reaches up overhead. Neck can kind of play with what feels best. If you want to look to the floor if your neck muscles are fatigued. You can also optionally challenge your neck by looking up. And then we'll unwind from there. We'll bring your legs straight out in front. Give them a little shake. And then an active forward fold. We're going to reach your arms up into just a nice elongated position in the back half of the body. And then without actually grabbing your legs, we're going to active forward fold, reaching ahead, creating lots of length in the back of the body. Maybe drop the chin down if that feels good. But keep the legs supported on the ground. So we're elongating as you're using those muscles in the back half of the leg. Press the legs down to lift the arms back up. Maybe flex the toes up if that feels like not too nervy. This gives us a nice nerve glide. And then we're going to reach forward again without grabbing the toes. So use the strength of your body to hold yourself up in that elongated position. Take 2 breaths. Anchor the calves down and then bring your chest back up. Perfect. We're going to make sure you've got plenty of room behind you to roll back down to your back. Once we're here, we'll go arms to the side, do a little spine twist. Go ahead, bend the knees, extend the right leg, and then left knee is going to come across toward the right side of the body, just giving the whole spine a little gentle twist. You can take your right hand to the left knee if you want to give that a little extra. Stretch that way. But as we're in that stretch position, you actually want to think about having your left knee push a teeny bit into the hand so that the muscles stay active as we're elongating them. Carefully unwind and then try the other side. So left leg goes straight, right knee comes into the chest, and then spiral. So look over at the opposite hand, which would be the right hand. Unwind carefully, come back to the center, get ready for Shavasana. If you need any extra props, pillows, blankets to be comfortable, option 2, grab whatever you need. And when you're ready, we'll meet on your mat, eyes closed. If you can, palms to the sky. And we'll go through a little guided relaxation. On your next exhale, we're going to tighten the muscles of the feet, the calves, the thighs, the glutes. Give everything a really big squeeze, 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 and then let it go. And then on our next breath, we'll tighten the muscles of the hands, the forearms, the upper arms. Give everything a really big squeeze, 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 and then let it rest. And then last, we're going to tense the muscles in the face. Squint the eyes, pucker the lips, like you eat a sour candy. Squeeze, 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 squeeze any tension out of it, and then let everything go. You're going to bring your attention to your breath. So first, by just noticing where you feel the breath moving in your body. Maybe allowing the exhale to be a little longer than your inhale. Letting any tension that's lingering in the muscles, letting it go with your exhale. Allowing the muscles of the face to soften even further. Letting go of any tension in the jaw or the neck, shoulders. Allowing the abdomen to be free to expand in all directions on your inhale, including the pelvic floor muscles, so that the sits bones widen on your inhale and return to their starting point on your exhale. You might begin to notice your body becoming heavier into the mat. And then on your next breath, we'll start to bring a little bit of movement back, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers. And turn to your side. Keeping that nice relaxation and softness in the muscles with you. When you're ready, go ahead and bring yourself back up to sit. And we'll wake ourselves back up with a nice inhale, reaching to the sky. Exhale, hands back to prayer. And close your eyes for just another moment, giving yourself some gratitude for having this time on the mat today and for all those movements that you were able to do. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you another time soon.